All right, guys, as promised, today we're going to do a full walk around of the 67 Chevelle. We're going to talk about the build, the process, what the intention was for the car, and a lot of the details and intricacies that most people don't get to see with the car just from a generalized video. So stay tuned, let's keep watching, and I'm going to show you what we got.
Can you like walk over and trip a little bit?
No. All right, so yesterday we did a full video with Steven and Tabby Cyphers. We went through the origination of the car, what it meant to them, their family, and then we kind of stepped in and told you a little bit about what the intent was for the car, which was originally to be a full factory restoration. Unfortunately, they brought it to us, and well, we don't do factory restorations very often, and we want to take cars to the next level. So, as you can see, the outside of this car has a impact of a factory 67 Chevelle. We did not want to take away from what this car originally was. We wanted to make sure that it still retained all of those aspects that everybody loves about a 67 Chevelle. So one of the biggest things that we do is making our fit, finish, gaps as perfect as we possibly can. So we spent a lot of time on this car making sure that all the lines were very crisp, all the gaps were very tight and very thorough, and making sure that the finish reflects that mirror that everybody expects from a car, from us and from other shops who provide quality to this level. So like I said, we were trying to maintain that 67 Chevelle look. So that being said, we hate the way that the factory bumpers fit. We hate the way that the trim fits. We hate the factory stance. So we went through a lot of effort to make this car look factory, but take it to that next level. One of the main things that we did was we pulled these bumpers in a lot. So as you can see on this bumper, it is very, very tight. We did that intentionally. We cut, spliced, fit, remade bumper brackets and everything to make this bumper suck in. We got rid of all the bumper bolts, and we perfected this piece so that it looks like it could be a part of the car, but we were very, very deliberate in not modifying the body of the car to suck these bumpers in. There's a lot of people that will do that, and that's fine depending on the project and the car. But this car was not intended to be a full modernized Pro Touring car. It was intended to be a 67 Chevelle taken to the ultimate level. We also wanted to increase our safety features, and so one of the things that we did do was we used Dakota Digital LED tail lights on this car. So when you hit the brakes, these things really illuminate and you can see them coming down the road. Along with what we did to the back of the car, the rear bumper, the chrome, the trim on the back of the car, we also did a very similar treatment to the front bumper. But what makes the front bumper so unique is that we did pull this in, we did take it out, but we got rid of the marker lights, which are originally right here, and we fabricated the whole lower half of the bumper to eliminate the original license plate mount. So this car now looks still factory, but retains that 67 Chevelle look, but has that refinity that you would expect from a shop like this. Also, we spent a lot of time in the grille, the trim pieces and everything to make them as perfect as we could, and then we sent it all out and had it chrome, and we came back and repainted all the black in here, the satin black like it was factory, to retain that super sport Chevelle look. We dressed that all up with the Dapper headlights. So these headlights are RGB switchback halos. They are projector LEDs. They are bright, and you can see these things from a mile away, and they look really cool when you turn them on. One of the other touches that we did to this car is to bring a little bit of that modern look to it without going too far, is we addressed the hood louvers. Now, these hood louvers were a design that we had, and we sent them off to, or we sent the idea to Dan from Alumacraft, and he was able to machine this out of two big chunks of aluminum. We did want to tie in the black and the red and the chrome, so we did go ahead and we've resurfaced the tops of these aluminum pieces and got them nice and shiny, and then we recessed them with the satin black. One of the other features that we did to slick everything up was because this car has air condition, we went ahead and we got rid of all the louvers in the cowl, but we did retain the factory windshield wipers because this car is intended to be driven. All the trim and everything was sent out and polished and straightened to perfection. All the chrome was done as well. And one of the other touches that we did was we got some Eddie Motorsports billet door handles that have the same geometric pattern like we have in the hood louvers. Now, if you stand back from the car, you can see that this car has a killer stance. We went through a lot of effort to accomplish this. It is currently sitting on UMI tubular suspension. It's got Viking coilovers on it. It is dropped 2 or 3 inches from stock ride height. The rear is a Mosier rear. It's a 12 bolt with C-clip eliminator, so it's got 9-inch housing ends on it. We narrowed the rear 2 inches because this car being a convertible, we could not tub it. So we narrowed it 2 inches and we put a set of 20 by 10.5 inch concave shot wheels. They're the Mach 5 style, and we had the brushed aluminum powder coat done to play with that silver accent without going too far with it. We wrapped those wheels and tires in Diamondback Classics. Diamondback Classics makes beautiful tires, so these are some red lines that we put on there to really tie that whole picture back together. We also put a set of Willwood 4-piston brakes on it so that we could really make sure that this car had all the stopping power that they needed. The convertible top on this car is a Mercedes Fast Track style top. So our buddies at King's Auto Upholstery did this top for us, and man, they did a killer job. But we went black with the top to really try to break it up, because this car does have a lot of red on it, but we wanted to make everything look intentional. So the black top, the black in between the taillights, the black in the grille, the black in the hood louvers all tie together really, really nice. The next thing that I'm going to show you is going to be the engine bay. So as we made mention yesterday in the story with Steven and Tabby, the engine bay was one of those selling points we had to really fight for. But I think in the end, it made all the difference in the world in this car. So I'll show it to you, and then we'll go through some of the details. As you can see, this engine bay is very, very complex. We started out just building a firewall cover. So this firewall is actually not a full firewall. It's a cover that is over top of the original firewall. So we have a lot of components like wires and stuff hidden in there, because the firewall that was in it was actually brand new. There was nothing wrong with it. And like I said, originally this car was intended to go towards the restoration route. So one of those things that changed was, well, the factory firewall's pretty ugly. So the whole custom side of things really started with that firewall piece. And I think at the end, it made a massive difference. But along with the firewall piece came these custom engine bay panels. So hidden behind all these panels right here, this is all heater control valve, AC lines, AC dryer, and all those components that we need to hide there. As well as on this side, we have our overflow and power steering reservoirs. And then this car even has electric brakes on it. So as you can see, the master cylinder right here, we slicked down and smooth. It was a full polished aluminum master cylinder. We machined the ball mills out of the top. We built all the stainless lines which run through the inner fender, and there's a electric pump underneath the inner fender which supplies all the power to the brakes. Underneath this panel right here is our US radiator and fan shrouds. We didn't want to hide it, but we wanted to make everything look really clean and intentional. So these panels go all the way down and surround that radiator to make maximum flow through the radiator. It makes sure that the fans pull through and do their job properly. One of the other things that we did was we took this is a 402 big block. 396 is poured out to a 402. It's got a pretty healthy cam in it. But we took the block, we smoothed it, we slicked it down, and we painted it base clear to match the motor. These valve covers are billet Eddie Motorsports valve covers that we painted and wet sanded and buffed to perfection. And these pieces right here, well, I'll be honest with you, that was not the intent for this car. We had some machine pieces for the valve covers, for the air cleaner, and the master cylinder that all through the process, even in the original design phase, were intended to go on this car. And part of the process in these cars sometimes is realizing that you made a mistake. And when we got them done, the car was almost ready to go. It was almost ready for debut. And we realized that they just didn't work on the car. They were hideous, to be honest. So we just canned them and we came up with another idea. So we actually made these spears in-house, painted them. We machined a flat surface into them and then allowed us to bring that black and silver accent onto the motor, like as the hood and the rest of the car.
Speaking of the hood, tell them about putting the hood on for the first time.
Oh, God. You had to bring that up, didn't you?
I do.
Okay.
You know how I love drama.
So, unfortunately, we did have an incident with the hood. We had this hood on and off multiple times throughout the whole process, and we do our cars complete in body work, and then we pull them apart to do the paint work. So when we body worked the car, everything was together. When we went to put the hood on, 4 days before the show started, before the debut, we went to put the hood on, and when we were tightening the bolts up, we heard a loud pop. And unfortunately, that pop was a bolt that was just a little bit too long. And I don't know why it changed from the day that we had the hood on, we were doing body work, to now, but long story short, 4 days before the car was debuted, we wound up having to rebody work or fix the dimple, strip it down, rebody work, block, and paint this entire hood and wet sand above it 4 days before its debut.
Got it done though.
Yeah, we did get it done, but it was, it was a moment, you could say. The car actually does, and it's hard to see here, but, because we do go through a lot of effort to hide all of our wiring and everything. So it is intentional that you don't see any of the functional parts of this car. But if you look really close, this car actually does have a Holley Sniper fuel injection underneath this air cleaner. We also do have plug wires for those who think that this car does not run and does not have plug wires. It does have plug wires and it does run very good. Yep. You can see it right there. We did do the Holley Sniper fuel injection to make this car dependable because it is a driver. That's the whole thing. People think that this is just a full-blown show car. Yeah, it's pretty. It is a driver and it runs and drives great. You can also see that we run a CVF pulley system. This is their Black Diamond big block Chevrolet pulley system. We went through a lot of efforts to make everything cohesive, neat, and clean. So if you notice, you don't see any wires on the AC. You don't see the wires on the alternator because we hid them. We also went through a lot of effort, even on the AC lines, to paint our AC fittings black. So the way we accomplished that was we actually ran all the AC lines. We got everything fit, and we're using Vintage Air Easy Clip hoses. So we got them all in place. We tightened them up, and then we pulled it all back apart, but left the fittings tight to the piece on the CVF AC compressor. And so we wound up painting those base clear, put it back on the car, and that's how we accomplished that without having a scarred up finish on the AC fittings. We also like to use the heat shrink hose clamps on everything we do because we think it's very clean, and I can't stand a ugly little clamp that's tightened down with a strap on the side of any hose that we do. So we use those on everything, and we also really like to use stainless tube to make our upper radiator hoses. I think it's just really cool, really clean look. That's really simple to do if you put any thought or effort into it. So the next major part of this car is the interior. Freddie King from King's Upholstery did a hell of a job on this interior. Let's take a look and see what you got. So this car has a ton of little details, and I promise I'm going to forget some of them. But one of the things that we were very adamant about was keeping this car retaining the 67 Chevelle look. So even though it is a full custom interior, it doesn't look so far out of place that you go, man, this is not 67 Chevelle anymore. This is some modern pro touring supercar. It is that, but it doesn't necessarily take away or date the car. So we went through a lot of effort to make sure that this car retains that. So that being said, we did make some upgrades and we did make some updates. I'm just going to take a seat and I'm going to kind of point out everything that we got going on here, because there's a lot.
Make sure you tell them about the seat rails.
Oh God. All right.
How nice they are.
Thomas wants his credit. We are very big on detail. And Thomas knows how I am when it comes to that stuff. So even if it's not seen, we want it to look nice. But there is extremes to that where it's like, hey, you're kind of just wasting time. But I'll give it to him. It looks good. So if you look up right here, we went through a massive amount of work to make these convertible top pieces as slick as the outside of the body. So these have been stripped, they've been straightened, they've been body worked, they've been primed, blocked, and base cleared, and wet sanded and buffed again. So every little component on this thing is wet sanded and buffed. Everything. Door jambs, convertible top bows. Well, apparently even our seat tracks, where the seat mounts up, these black beauties were sitting in a pile of parts that we painted all at the same time with the convertible top. And I said, Thomas, go ahead and wet sand and get these things ready to buff so we can make another step in the progress of this build. And man, he was so excited. I came in there one day and he goes, yeah, look, I got all these pieces wet sanded. I got a couple more over there. And as I look over there, I see a couple more convertible top parts. And meanwhile, he's sitting there with this big black piece in his hand. That's
wondering where the heck it goes on the convertible top.
Yeah, he's sitting there sanding it with 3000. Oh man, I almost got this thing finished. And he turns it around and I said, Thomas, what are you doing? He's like, I'm wet sanding these pieces. I'm not quite sure how this fits. And I said, fits what? He said, the convertible top. I said, that's the seat track. He's like, oh, well, the other three look really good. So, well, that being said, we had to finish buffing them out. So all the seat tracks, even the parts that the seat is connected to, are all wet sanded and buffed to perfection, thanks to Thomas. Even though, honestly, no one on earth would see it. But hey, I'm not upset. I'll never be upset when my guys take something to the next level. So what we got going on here on the front of the car is a mix of original, a mix of custom, and a mix of in between. So I'll start with the top of the dash. So what you see here is a full machine panel that we had done that plays off of the hood louvers, it plays off of the engine bay, it plays off the hood hinges and the pulley system. And that's also where we got the three-dimensional geometrical look on the door handles. So all the interior door cranks, all the door handles, and even the steering wheel and the dash panel all have that same geometric pattern going through there. So we took the original one off, we machined this out of aluminum, and we went ahead and painted all of it, or anodized this black, and anodized the back set black on it, and we went ahead and machined all these corners to get that same look as the black diamond pulley system from CVF Racing. Also, you'll notice that these knobs are nowhere near factory, or there's not the factory amount of them. So like I said before, I don't want to see a bunch of stuff on my dash, and I don't want it to seem hodgepodge. So these knobs, this is your wiper and this is your headlight. These were both machined by BBT Fab in Illinois to match this dash panel right here, which is controlling all of our vintage air components. So this panel right here was done the same. It was finished black, anodized black, and then machined sides. And we made sure that we had all these knobs machined to match. One of the other things that we did was we put a Dakota digital gauge cluster in here to bring a little bit of that modern touch. These things are beautiful when they light up. I mean, I really wouldn't choose anything else. We've got a custom auto sound radio that's truly just a Bluetooth module. The car does have Bluetooth stereo and everything in it. These vents right here, we've modified the dash and built these pockets. These are Restomod Air vents. These things are beautiful. They push in and out to open and close. They're ball sockets, so they move around, and it all ties in with our theme. As you can see, we wrapped the top half of the dash, but this is a very intricate area to wrap, so we paint matched all this lower section of the dash and the steering column to match the leather inside the car. This billet specialty steering wheel was a mixture of our own. I didn't like the solid black, I didn't like the solid polished, I didn't like, you know, all those things. So we went through efforts to get all these components and piece it together to make it have that contrast like the rest of the car. This car is an automatic. It has a turbo 400 transmission, but these cars look so cool 4-speed. So we went ahead and used this low car floor shifter and the low car / Clayton Machine Works shifter handle to match our door handles, and we're running a bowler shifter knob on top to dress that all out. One of the other things that you'll notice is, and you can't see, is this car's actually got a American Auto Wire harness in it. We use American Auto Wire on pretty much every build that we do. But this we didn't want to see any of that. So we went through a lot of efforts to make a panel that goes underneath the whole dash to hide it, so that when you sit here and look underneath the car, you don't see any of the functional parts of the car. But it does trim around. You can see that we do have a vintage air box on this side. It's just all functional, clean, and classic. So get out of here, and I'm going to show you some other aspects of this interior. Like I said, details, 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 details. To us, that is the most important thing. So one of the last minute things that got put into this car after Freddie did the seats and the interior was these seat medallions. These seat medallions we had machined to match all the other components in the car. And to me, that little touch right there in the seat makes all the difference in the finished product of the car. Back here, Freddie also did a really nice job finishing out the trunk. He went ahead and he wrapped this panel for the whole top side of the trunk, and he put the carpet in here and wrapped the sides to match the interior. Also, like I said before, we like to have our cars to be functional and drivable. So one of the other things that we like to do is we always like to have a jump port remote from the car that you can access without having to be controlled by electronics. So this is our jump port that we have here, and we have our battery and everything hidden underneath these panels in the trunk. So some of the things that you really can't see, but I'll let Thomas try to get a peek at, is the underside of this car. We went through a lot of effort to try to make the underside of this car as nice as the top. So it's got a tank sink tank with the fuel pump inside. It's got a full polished stainless MagnaFlow exhaust, and we did the bottom side of the car in a color matched bed liner from Patriot Liner. This was intentional. I mean, there's a lot of people that say, oh, show cars can't have textured finishes underneath the car, and I think they're completely wrong. And the reason being is because I think texture breaks things up. This car has a lot of red. We've heard that before, but when you look underneath this car, it's got dimension to it. You can still see all the floor pans, the shapes and everything. It's just got texture, and the biggest benefit to this is it's going to be durable for them driving it, and it's an amazing sound deadener. This car is quiet to drive. You get in it, you hit the road, and of course you get that rumble from the exhaust, but there's no squeaks, there's no rattles, there's no jiggles. I mean, it is truly impressive for us to drive. We love driving this car, and it drives great. It stops great, it runs great, it's got plenty of power. So this car to us is a massive project, but it's so clean, so fun, it's so enjoyable, and we love doing these cars that have memories and have reason behind them. And you know, we love giving our customers a product that they can enjoy beyond just having a show, beyond just winning awards. I mean, yes, this car's won plenty of awards, yes, it shows great, but if they can't drive it, it's useless. So, you know, I hope that this helps everybody be able to really see, you know, that These cars have a lot of intricacies about them, and sometimes we make mistakes, but at the end of the day, it's all about that finished product, and we get to enjoy that from showing it at a car show to driving it. So thank you guys for watching, and if you have any more questions, put them in the comments, and we'll try to answer them the best we can, and we may even make a video on it if we get enough information or people wanting more information on it. So thank you for watching, guys.